Hi, Jean.
Hi,
Um,
Amy.
Hi. This is something we decided on. We were going to interview each other, and now I'm interviewing you. We met in 2007 at the Vermont Studio Center, and I'm from New Orleans, and you're from Vermont, right?
Yeah, I'm from Winooski.
Yes. And we had a lot of fun there at the Vermont Studio Center, and that's how we became friends. But we got back in touch in about 2018, right? When you came to New Orleans.
Yep.
And then we started to talk all the time when the quarantine started in 2020 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we just had a lot in common. And it was a very unique time, a very strange time. And my art changed. Did your art change during that time at all, too?
Well, I think it got more intense. I don't think that it really changed that much. Here, I'll show you. I I paint in a very specific way, and it's using my rollerblades. So I've been doing this since about 2008, and so I have tried to um, after I met you at the studio center, I was doing my master's degree there, and I really had to reflect kind of back into my history of who I was to sort of recognize that as a small child, I was able to be given art lessons, but I also was a competitive skier coming from New England, and I really thrived on physical activity to express myself and to feel free. And so when I went to grad school, I combined the technique of using my feet with recycled rollerblades to spread the paint around the canvas. So what you're looking at is just sort of a series of what I call active expressionist paintings and experiments where I'm really playing a role in this sort of active painter, this person who is exploring how her rollerblades create different forms, shapes, emotions. And I like to say that it's just a little bit edgy and, skate parky and kind of something that just comes from needing to work out either things that have been bothering me in my history or my life. And I really find a lot of solace in working through things physically and with color on the canvas. There's something about the motion that I really love.
Yes, well, that's very interesting. So, is this a lot? Were you doing any rollerblades in 2007 when we met?
Well, I had started considering it, and it was after a very bad injury while I was playing with my daughter that it was the second time I had injured the same knee that I sort of decided I'm going to do something that maybe people haven't done before. And I thought to myself, well, at that time, uh, I was, taking all my background in training and all of my background in art and trying to combine them. But it wasn't until after that injury, around that time after I met you, that it spurred me on to thinking about art as a way of healing. And so I thought that I could do this rollerblade painting, and I started having a lot of fun with it, and it started to yield a lot of really interesting results. And so, in terms of how my work has changed, I think it's just gotten more intense because I become more and more confident that what I produce with my feet, with the paint, becomes works of art that are unusual.
Yes. So, how would you describe your style?
Well, it's definitely influenced by 21st century, 20th century abstract expressionists. I think that when you look at a work, you see the the human scale of what my body can create. So there's often circles, there's often patches of color, and those patches are essentially the scale of my body and how I can move my feet, in different directions from the center core of my torso. So they're quite large, actually, some of them. Like the circles you see sometimes are 2 feet or 4 feet. I work in that scale and that size. Some of the larger ones are like, 8 feet by 4 feet, the canvases, because I will just start dipping my feet in paint and just going like in a circle because it feels like a pattern and a path that really makes me, I don't know, like I'm so fulfilled doing it. It feels good, and then my eyes start seeing the color, and then a story gets told from that. And that story is often these images that come out of it from a painter's perspective.
Yes, that's a good point. Um, let's pause. I'm sorry,
Well, just
Jean.
to add on a little bit to that, I think what's really interesting about that in 21st century painting is, honestly, I'm using wheels. And if we think about how many wheels we use to make an imprint on the ground and the earth, it's a pretty significant impact. And
Yes.
I'm fascinated by that. What are your thoughts on that?
I like the circular motion of a lot of your paintings, um, because it's just powerful. I don't know what it is about it, um, but it's something about it is powerful.
Circular motions, yeah. And some of them where they become ovals, there's something powerful about that too. I'm trying to, does it have to do with the fact that I actually own one of your moon photographs, and I have it in a very special place in my home. And I was just enamored by your moon photograph. And I think it's something about the seasons and the tides and the ocean and the landscape that somehow is reflected in some of my abstract pieces. Because we know, I'm not saying this is a picture of a particular planet or something like that, but we know that the earth and wheels and the history of wheels and circles has a very deep connection to our human existence and our human experience, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so I like to add that on to people thinking, oh, well, she loves to have fun in her studio because she's, an ex-athlete and she's an artist too, but it's a powerful experience creating these forms for me. It really is. And I I like it when people imagine that this is a true way of making art, even though it's a little bit bad. It's like a little, it's kind of naughty. Like, oh, she takes her rollerblades and paints on the ground, and she steps on her paintings. And to me, it's just a reality of our true truth, which is that we have a lot of technology in this world and we have a lot of impact on the earth. And I'm sort of approaching it from just a different angle. Um,
yes.
so I
Well,
guess I'll, yeah, go ahead.
yes. Well, let's continue this conversation another time. It doesn't
Sure.
have to be the last time, but it was very nice talking to you about your art.
Thank you. Amy, we'll talk soon.